Hey, and welcome to Faroese in America. Today's video is titled Faroese Syntax Sentence Structure. First, we have to talk about terms, and these are terms that I have learned in Faroese Folkaskole, Faroese High School, Danish University, and American College. In Latin, we have verbal, subject, object, dative object, subjects predicate, objects predicate, and adverbial. And in Faroese we have omsøgn, grunnlig, avvirke, hverjumfallsavvirke, omsøgnalite grunnlig, omsøgnalite avvirke, and tjalir. And in Danish we have udsagnsledet, grundledet, genstandsledet, hensynsledet, omsagnsledet til grundledet, omsagnsledet til genstandsledet, and biledet / adverbial. And then in English we have predicate, subject, direct object, indirect object, subject complement, object complement, and adverbial. Now, syntax means orðalagslæra in Faroese. You can also say setningsbyggnavur, so basically how a sentence or how a clause is built. And in order to learn a new language, you have to be familiar with your own language first. So let's say that English is your first language. Then here is a case of how words in a sentence have to be in a specific order. Jane ate a burger. All of the other versions don't really work in English. Unless you're Yoda, then you can say a burger Jane ate. But most of us are not Yoda, so we can only say Jane ate a burger in English. In Faroese, there are more options. You can say Jana åt en burgare åt Jana, Jana en burgare åt, and then if you add a question mark, this becomes a question. Åt Jana en burgare? And the reason for this is because, for example, ein burgare is in accusative, so it doesn't really matter where in the sentence the word is, burgare, because it will still show that it is in accusative. Obviously, the first sentence, Jana åt en burgare, is the most common one, sounds the most normal, but that doesn't mean that you can't say the other ones. Okay, and now I'm gonna show you 4 different ways of how you can put a sentence into a diagram, or like how you can use some symbols, or like just how you can put the sentence into something to show what the subject is and what the direct object is and all of that. So the sentence we're going to deal with is, the boxer from Virginia punched his opponent in the ring. So here is the traditional way. I learned this in American College. It's pretty cool. I think the second one, form function, looks even more cool. But this one is also a little bit complicated to make and just like time consuming. But this will be kind of like the tree diagram one. And then the third one, I'm not really sure if this is the way that English and American speaking people do this. I certainly did not learn this in school, but I've kind of seen this somewhere. So I think people will put like S for subject under the boxer from Virginia, V for verb, DO for direct object, and PP for a prepositional phrase. But in Faroese, we would do this, use symbols. So I just showed the 3 other ones to just compare with this one. I personally think this is the best, but that's also because I grew up with it, and I think, it just makes sense. But you will see later. So the boxer from Virginia is the subject, which we use the symbol X. Punched is the verb, so the symbol will be a circle. His opponent is the direct object, avvirke, so that will be a triangle. And then in the ring shows an adverbial. In the ring is like a place. You can ask where, and then the answer is in the ring. So here we have the symbols and the Faroese terms. If you need the English or Latin or Danish terms, just go back and look at those. But yeah, omsøgn is a circle, grunnlig is an X, Ávirki, a triangle. Hvørjumfals ávirki, a square. Umsagnarlítli grundli, a circle with an X. And umsagnarlítli ávirki, circle with a triangle. And Charlier is kind of like a wave. And yeah, you can ask när, hver, hví, hvussu, where, when, why, how, when you're dealing with an adverbial and Charlie. So here we have some simple clauses that we are going to greina or analyze or dissect, or however you say that in English. I put the symbols in a way to show the most common simple clauses that you can find. So the simplest of the simplest is just Sofia dansar. Sofia is dancing. Just grundlier and umsögn. And then if you add ávirki, Maria äter mat, Maria is eating food. Then you have grundli, umsögn, and ávirki. And then to add hvørjumfals ávirki, we have Omman gav døtrene eina gavu. The grandmother gave her daughter a gift. And then læraren klókur, the teacher is clever or smart. That will be umsagnarlítli grundli. And another tip for this is to simply just substitute the verb with the equal sign. So læraren equal klókur. The teacher equals smart, clever. So whenever you can substitute a verb with the equal sign, then it shows that it's probably umsagnarlítli grundli. And it usually is also with the verb to be. So that's another tip. And then we have another clause here. Dómarnir dømdu X Factor vel. The judges judged X Factor well. X Factor is ávirki, and vel, well, is umsagnarlig til ávirki. And then the last clause, Hanna spaldi í morgun. Hannah played this morning. You can ask, when did Hannah play? This morning. So therefore, í morgun is Charlier, adverbial. Now those were only simple clauses, but here we have a few sentences. Eine forverden kona som dømte vel å baka brei og bollar. Once upon a time there was a woman who liked to bake bread and buns. Ta gestur vitja og henne, bjóði hon teimum alltid brei og bollar. When guests visited her, she always offered them bread or buns. Gestirnir voru glaðir fyrir gestablutni hennara. The guests were happy or glad for her hospitality. Ta í veðri blei betri, for maðurin að mála húsini svørt. When the weather got better, the husband or the man went to paint the house black. Han hevði verið í handlinum og keypt máling, penslar og ein stiga. He had been in the store and bought paint brushes, and a ladder. So the first thing you want to do is to look for umsögn. Look at the verbs. But bear in mind that verbs that are in the infinitive form do not count as umsögn. So we have ver, dømte, vitjaðu, bjóðaði, voru, bleiv, fór, and then a combined hevði verið og keypt, had been and bought. So we have hjálparsaknur, hevði there. In English, helping or linking verb. And then we're gonna find grundli and basically find who it was who did all of these things. So ein kona is the first grundli, and then since there is a comma that splits the sentence into two clauses, sum, meaning who or which, who in this case, would be grundlier for the second clause because it refers back to ein kona. And then we have gestir, hon, gestirnir, veðri, maðurin, and han. And then next we're gonna find ávirki, direct object. And so in the first sentence, once upon a time there was a woman who liked whom, who liked what. That's how you ask. What or whom did you like? And the reason I'm asking whom, kvön in Faroese, is because it is in kvön fadl, so in accusative. So it's just easier grammatically to ask that way, but it sounds more sense if you ask what did she like? Kvad domti hon. But she liked to bake bread and buns. Baka breibollar. So that is average in that sentence. And same thing in the second sentence. Whom or what did she offer? Kvön or kvad bjói hon? Brei eller bollar. Bread or buns. And then gestinir voru glægir fyrir gestablutni hennara. Kvön voru gestinir glægir fyrir gestablutni hennara. Whom or what were the guests happy for? The hospitality. Her hospitality. Ta vekkri blei betri for maverin kvön, which sounds a little bit weird, but kvad for maverin, kvön for maverin, mala husene. And then han hei veru I handlunum og kjøpt kvön. What or whom had he bought? Maling, penslar og en stia. Sorry if this all sounds a little bit complicated. It's a little bit complicated to explain over a microphone and over a PowerPoint slide. Hopefully you can understand a little bit. Now there's only one hverjum false avgjørelse, a dative indirect object, which is taimon. You can basically see it because of the ending taimon. But yeah, like in Faroese you would ask hverjum bjói hon alltid brei og bollar? Taimon. So therefore taimon is hverjum false avgjørelse. And then we have umsøknarlitli grundli. In the middle sentence, gestinir voru glægir. The guests were glad, happy. And let's try to put the equal there. Gestinir likvi glægir. The guests equal happy. So that's all good. And then we have umsøknarlitli avgjørelse. And yeah, so to paint the house black. So amala husene svørst, and svørst refers back to husene. Like to paint the house black. Black refers back to house. And then lastly we have a few adverbials. So einaferð, once upon a time. Like when, you ask the question when, and then answers in a time. Ta ui is kind of like, yeah, when. But ta ui also translates to the English when. Alltid meaning always, so again, when, always. And in the last sentence, we handlunum in the store, so you can ask where in the store, a place. So, that is how you greinar ein setning. That is how you analyze, dissect a sentence, a clause, however you wanna phrase it. I really hope that this was helpful and that this could give you an insight in the Faroese way to use these kind of symbols to just, yeah, see how sentences work. And let me know if you want a part 2 video. I can definitely make that. And if you have questions, just leave them in the comment section and I will answer. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, then please consider subscribing. That would help this channel a lot. So yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye guys!